Hello everybody, my name's REEVSY, you're watching Week of Geek, and today I want to speak to you about leveling in Shadowlands, but specifically I want to talk to you about some things that you can do to make sure you're leveling as quickly as possible throughout the expansion. So I've just got off the back of a 24-hour stream all about World of Warcraft, and I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just telling you that because I've spent a lot of time in Shadowlands. So as I've said, this video is all about maximizing the amount of efficiency and the amount of time you have and improving your speed leveling through the content. I am by no means a professional speedrunner or a speedrunner of any type, so this stuff might just be common knowledge, but there's a few things in here which I've really found useful. I really wanted to share it with you because I know lots of people are looking for shortcut ways, and if you're someone like me who doesn't particularly enjoy the story as much, after like some of the endgame mechanics, you might be looking for a way to get through it quickly. Alright, so here we go. Here's some things which you need to be doing to make sure you're maximizing the efficiency and shortening the time whilst you're leveling. First thing is use consumables. Make sure you buy some consumables which can speed you up, some potions, and I'm gonna bunch in your covenant abilities with this as well. Use all of the things that you have available to you. I always try and purchase some sort of speed boost potion. Potions to make sure I can take on more mobs as my paladin, and heal up also speeds up the time it takes to do quests. If you've got a consumable, even though it might seem like a very tiny advantage, use them. You can get quite a few of them quite cheaply, or if you don't want to spend money, maybe take up alchemy and make yourself some as well. The next thing is FOMO, fear of missing out. I always think I'm missing out on something when I'm blasting through content. That leads me to pick up every single quest. My advice to you is to stop FOMO, either level once slowly, taking in absolutely every bit of story and absolutely every quest, or plan to do it in the future. If on your first character in these first few weeks you would like to get to the end game and like to get to the end content, do that, but just know that you're going to go back and experience all of that stuff, and just knowing that you're going to do that will put your mind at ease. Hopefully it does for me, and you can just focus on the goal at hand, which is getting through the campaign story and leveling yourself up. The third bit of advice is all about living life on the road. Use your Hearthstone as much as possible. I personally am quite guilty of just setting my Hearthstone in the main city and always going back there and flying to each of my points. So if you're questing in Bastion, for example, a place where you're jumping from one side of the map straight back to the other, you're going to be really thankful of that new Hearthstone place every single time you get to a new hub. What a lot of people forget to do, and it dramatically shaves off time, it might only be a 5-minute walk, but use your Hearthstone. It refreshes every 15 minutes, so you might as well use it. So do it. Why not use it? Keep resetting it every single time you go to a new questing hub, because that's what you're going to be coming back to. The next one is not possible for every class, not possible for every character. If you're going to do some sort of speed run, or you're going to try and progress quickly, consider taking in a class or a race which has some form of threat loss. This is something that I cannot live without. I purposefully level with night elves all the time because they have shadow melon. Hunters have feigned death, and of course rogues have vanish. And there's other mechanisms to lose threat. The point I'm trying to make is, if you would like to run quickly and you would like to go through questing quickly, one of the things that will slow you down is lots of gangs of mobs chasing you. So if I said the words to you, be efficient, it might be very obvious that we're talking about leveling quickly through Shadowlands. The one thing I find very efficient is, if I have a tank spec available on the character that I'm playing, I will level with that tank spec. A lot of the quests in Shadowlands are to kill a certain amount of things or collect a certain amount of things by killing mobs. By having a tank, I can get up to 9 or 10 creatures together at once and start to destroy them. And more often than not, if you've got a big bunch of stuff, somebody will come along and help you. That is so much quicker than going around and killing them all one by one. And to add to that, if you're using consumables like we spoke about earlier, then the chances are you'll be able to stay alive longer anyway because of the stuff that you're using. So be efficient by rolling the right spec, be a tank, and get all of those mobs into one place. Get them all together and kill them all at once. Every single time you go through a story for an area, you will get a dungeon quest. My advice to you is to leave all of those dungeon quests. Don't queue for it and don't waste your time in it. You need to level through that campaign. So do it, and then when you get to the end, go back and level through all of those dungeons. And I mentioned it a few times, but stick to the quest objectives. So in this expansion, they're marked with a little square or shield marker, as opposed to just the question mark and exclamation marks. Only do those, is my advice. Go through all of the stories of all of the areas up until you get to a point where you can't level anymore or you hit 60. Do your essential, and then you can grind out those last few levels if you need. A lot of people will say that when you're speedrunning, you need to have war mode on because it gives you a certain amount of XP depending on what realm you're in. If you are the first people into an expansion, that war mode is a must because everyone's focused around you on doing the missions and questing through the content. My advice now, however, it's been a few days, you really need to weigh up, is the percentage that's being offered to you worth the extra time that's going to be spent either fending off people or running away from people? So just weigh it up. 30% sounds like a lot, and it is a lot. It will really help you, but is it worth the time that you'll be spending? And if it's anything less, some realms are 10%, 15%. Is that 10-15% worth it? Probably not. So just leave war mode off and get on with the quests, is my advice. We've already talked about classes and picking certain classes, and we've already talked about mobility separately. But one of the things I would always consider is the mobility of your class. Mobility means DPS because you get to stuff quicker. DPS means things die quickly, and things dying quickly means you meet your objectives quicker. So that mobility counts. So think about it. Have you got a class which is fast? And if you haven't, what can you do? Like I've said before, consumables to make your character faster. And then the last thing is not an essential because you can meet other people, but I always have a team ready, even if it's only 2 or 3 other people, and they're ready for the point where you get to max level. The second you hit max level, then you need to be getting on with dungeons. And sometimes you've finished your story content and you've still got a few levels to go. And that's when dungeons are really important. A random pug group can really set you back and really let you down. If you've got a few people who you know will hold it together, for instance, you've got a healer and a tank and you're DPSing, you've got the main bones of a team, then you're going to be fine sticking with them. So have them there ready and get them warmed up, and maybe make sure you're all at the same point so you can all smash through the dungeons together. Okay, so that's my advice. Like I said, none of it was extremely groundbreaking, but it's stuff I think everybody should be doing when they're leveling. I think it's some basic stuff that if you do it all, then you're going to cut off a lot of time. Okay, so if you like this video, then please make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe as well, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you very much.